Welcome back, everybody. So this show is going to be for all you home theater aficionados out there. And we're going to look at the Next Level Acoustics reference cinema speakers. These things are absolutely amazing. I tried these out in my theater and they were awesome. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all about them. Before we get started, if you're into tech, hi-fi, or movies, be sure to push the subscribe button for new weekly videos. First off, who exactly is Next Level Acoustics? They are a speaker manufacturer located in the New England area. They make lots of different products, mostly CI related, custom installer. So they have in-walls, custom subwoofers, and they're really well known for these custom soundbars that they make, which are just crazy. And I've always wanted one. Well, now they're also making dedicated home theater speakers that are absolutely high end. And that's what we're going to focus on today. What we have today is a trio of their reference cinema speakers, so a LCR for a home theater. These speakers are purpose-built for home theater, and the version that I have are the on-wall version. They also have a in-wall version as well, but the ones I have are specifically designed to be mounted on the wall. From a physical point of view, the speaker contains a compression horn tweeter and two 8-inch mid-bass drivers. Their 11 by 24 by 6 inches include on-wall mounting hardware, and from a specifications point of view, probably the most important piece, their frequency response is rated at 50 to 20,000 hertz. Now this is in a sealed enclosure. One interesting note is that these speakers have maybe the most powerful magnetic grills that I've ever seen. They really snap on with force. On the rear of the speaker is a single set of 5-way binding posts for your speaker cable attachment. Now let's take a look at some measurements of these Next Level Acoustic speakers. So I tested this out in my home theater, and I set up the LCR in nice positions, kind of with the tweeters at ear level, and then I measured each of the LCR. So you can see this is the center, and then we've got the left speaker, and then the right speaker. Obviously, the room does a lot of stuff here, but you know we're looking at a scale of 1 decibel per here, right? So this is not a lot of variance, and you can see all three hold to the same curve. So I think there's a very good consistency amongst the speakers. The two things to note is, let's look at what's happening at the high end and the low end, right? So on the high end, things start rolling off in my room, somewhere around 10K a little bit, right? You can see here, this guy is, not really rolled off that much. And, there's probably a room dip here impacting things. So everything looks fine on the top end, but this tells me this is not a super, super hot speaker. So it's not gonna, blast you out. Likely the area that you want to really focus in on more is this low end area down here. And as you can see, things start rolling off. They're solidly rolled off down here at 40 hertz, right? And then up here at the 50 hertz, where they claim you can see things are moving down, and they might be moving down, at least in my room, a little bit before then. This is gonna be fine. Most people are looking just for the mains to get down to 80, and these get down to 80, no problem, right? So that's great. And maybe a little bit lower, but these are not gonna be something that you would consider to be any kind of full range speaker or even full range-ish. Just follow the specifications that they put forth. It seems pretty accurate, and you'll need subwoofer support. Obviously, this home theater speaker, so you're going to have that in any event. But, these aren't the kind of speaker where you would want to play with, well, let's take these things down to 30 hertz or something from that point of view. You're going to be crossing these over up around 80. Now let's check out some sound demos. We're going to start with A Star Is Born. This is one of my favorite clips to test the musicality of speakers. And just listen in. I know this is over a recording, but these sounded spectacular. Now let's mix things up with a little bit of music that is imbued with action, right? And one of my favorite scenes like this is the attack scene from Star Trek. Check this thing out.
Let's make some noise. That's a good choice.
And the last demo is the classic opening from Ready Player One. Man, this thing just gives me chills every time I hear it. And it sounded so good on these speakers. Now we're down to my final thoughts. These speakers have a lot of pros and a couple of cons, and I'm going to run through those really quickly just so you can know how I feel about them. On the pro side, these things sound spectacular. I mean, you're not going to ask or be able to get anything that's going to be much better than this. They're really, really, really good. On the con side, this is absolutely a CI kind of speaker, right? So you're going to need some help installing it if you're not the kind of person that has a lot of elbow grease, right? The on-wall mounting for this takes some guts, right? Because you're drilling into the back of the speaker, and then the aesthetic of the speaker is kind of utilitarian, right? So it's not something that you want to put out for view. It's covered in Duratex, and it's not what I would call a refined finish. It's very utilitarian. It's very functional, but you know, people aren't going to look at it and say, "Man, that thing's a beautiful speaker." The other piece is that, you know, this speaker costs some good money. Now, I'm not going to put a number out there. You can figure this out with a local dealer if you're looking for them. Are they worth the money? Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, they're not going to be your $299 a pair of speaker kind of thing. So this is for the serious cinephile that also wants the best possible audio that they can get. All right. With all that said, I give these about 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 4.5 out of 5 stars. If they had a slightly better finish, I would just go ahead and bump them all the way up and say, hey man, these things are great, and they can't get any better. I would say that the only way that they would really get better is if the finish was a little more refined, and if they could pull that low end down to maybe closer to 40 hertz than 50, I might be happier. But I suspect if you go to some of the larger versions that have an extra set of mid-bass drivers down there, you'll get that extension where these with the 2 single-8s don't quite get down so far. All right. That takes us to the end. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things, and I'll see you in the next video.